So first question about how to cultivate good habits in this time. So most of us, work or not work, whether we work or not, this is a new reality in terms of just being told by the government, stay at home. I mean, that's the categorical advice now. There are now videos going out from doctors, nurses, government officials, from everybody saying, basically, stay at home. And obviously the government's message is, we're taking care of everything. You have no reason to come out. You have to stay at home, right? And today I heard that they need 70% cooperation in order to bring the virus under control. So they need 70% of the population to basically stay at home and be in isolation in order for the spread to stop, or the spread to come under control. So basically that's what we're required to do, which does mean that there's no community, there's no commuting, there's no, there's no socializing, there's no other distractions, there's no spending time in the cafe, there's no going out to the restaurant, there's no sports. There's none of the things that keep us away from home, which does ultimately mean that we have more time. So before anything else, the first thing that you've got to do, and this is my experience over the past 2 or 3 days while the children have been at home, is we made this commitment that we're all going to do salah bil jama'ah, etc., etc. But the first couple of days, we never made a routine. And then yesterday, my wife said, okay, right, tomorrow we're making a routine. Everything's going to be done at a particular time. So we're not just going to gather together and try to do jama'ah, but we're going to do jama'ah at a fixed time from tomorrow. And that's basically worked out much, that as a concept works out much better. So you have to behave, if you want to keep your sanity and get things done and be more productive, and then take pleasure and joy out of that productivity, then it requires us to basically not be chaotic with our time, but be disciplined and have a routine, and try our best to stick to that routine. And the best thing to build that routine around is congregational salah, right? So I don't know how many of you are living alone, but most Muslims don't live alone, right? We live with someone. If you live alone, the same principle applies, right? You're at home, you won't be able to go to the masjid. You're at home, adhan, iqama, salah, at fixed times. Ideally, if you want to get maximum reward for jama'ah, like masjid kind of reward, then pray your salah as though you're praying in the masjid. That means if salah is at 1 o'clock, 1:15 in the masjid, then you pray at that time. You do your adhan before that as though you were going to the masjid, and then you'll get the full reward of the masjid. But that also gives you your routine. That gives you your, I've got these 5 kind of marks in the day in which I pray. So that means your waking up time's already now fixed, which automatically means that it's going to have an impact on sleeping time. So your sleeping time is sorted, right? If your dhuhr time is fixed, that means you are going to have to stop and take a break for dhuhr, and take a break for asr, take a break for maghrib, if you are working through those hours, if you're doing other things. It also means that the family is going to have to congregate around salah, which also opens up the possibility of doing other activities around salah. So for example, one of the things that we do and we've started doing is after we've done fajr together, we go through a wird after fajr. So a collection of du'as that are appropriate at this time. So you've seen many collections of du'as that are appropriate to the coronavirus crisis situation. Various du'as have been suggested, including the popular ones and others. Some are normal everyday du'as. Even if you have never practiced this before, the practice of the hizb, the daily hizb or the daily wird, or a select number of du'as to recite, including the sunnah du'as of the morning and the evening, as well as other du'as appropriate to these circumstances, as well as a routine of tilawah of the Quran. If you've never done that before, this is the time to do it, and just attach it to the salah. What else have you got to do? attach it to the salah. So you've got Fajr, do the wird straight after Fajr. Stay in the same place, do the wird together. If the family isn't familiar with this and people are struggling to read it, then whoever can read it out loud, everybody else follow, right? And copy. And basically, whether you do it from Hisnul Muslim or whether you do it from elsewhere. So there you go, your basics are done, right? So you've got your Salah bil Jama'ah. So remember, Salah bil Jama'ah is Adhan, Iqama, Jama'ah. So let's work through that. If you're on your own, you still do Adhan, Iqama, and you do Salah normally, but you do it as though you were an Imam. That means you recite loud in Fajr, quiet in Dhuhr, Asr, and then Maghrib, Isha you recite loud. Right? So you recite as though you were the Imam. Okay? This is how you get maximum rewards. When you do tashabbuh bil jama'ah, when you basically pray resembling jama'ah, then you get you get more reward than praying in the solitary form of salah, with the salah of the munfarid, as we call it, the salah of the solitary musalli. There's more reward to it. Now, of course, there's more reward to it at other times. This is normal practice. This is not some kind of special coronavirus practice. This is normal practice, but people don't do it. But at a time like this, we are supposed to go above and beyond and turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So therefore, there is no excuse. You know, I said in one place that if you didn't normally go to the masjid and pray with jama'ah, now at home with your family, I would say it is close to wajib. I wouldn't go as far as saying it's wajib, but it is close to wajib. The emphasis is as close to wajib to perform your prayers with jama'ah at home now that it can't be done in the masajid. Because now it's an obligation. Now the duty upon you is to keep the jama'ah alive while it is closed in the masajid, right? As well as maintain routine, as well as demonstrate to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that you're learning the lesson, right, of a mass virus, of a pandemic. That you're learning the lesson that turning towards Allah the lesson to turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala at these times is manifesting in you. So you're turning to Allah. How are you turning to Allah? Well, one of the things that has to be done is we have to somehow make up for the things we're losing. Right? We've lost the jama'ah in the masjid. We have to make up for that at home. So even if you're on your own, pray as though it's the jama'ah. And yes, it should be done at other times as well. But we have to now go above and beyond, because we're supposed to be turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and doing that demonstrably. Like it should be there, it should be evidence in our actions. So therefore, even if you're on your own, you do it like that. If you're a couple or a family, then of course, if husband and wife, husband leads, wife stands behind in the row behind, right? If it's males and females in the family, then the males are ahead and the females are behind, as the Prophet ﷺ ordered the sufuf, basically. And then whoever leads as per an imam. If you don't know how to lead salah, then perhaps look the masail up. I'm sure you'll easily find it. But the basic rules are: the imam basically recites aloud, makes an intent, keeps in his intention that he is leading others. Reads aloud in Fajr, Maghrib, and Isha, right? The Fatiha and the Surah and the Takbir and the Sami Allahu liman hamida, etc., etc. Rabbana lakal hamd if you're not Hanafi. If you're Hanafi, then Rabbana lakal hamd is 5. So all of the takbirs, as you transition from one movement to another, have to be said aloud. The salam has to be said aloud. The Sami Allahu liman hamida is said aloud. So for the imam, it's actually the same. Salah is the same, except for the vocalization of some parts, meaning you say some parts loud, and Fajr, Maghrib, and Isha is allowed. However, if you're a muqtadi, meaning if you're behind, and if that's so some sisters don't go to the masjid normally, but perhaps now but now like jama'ah is happening at home. So what do you do? According to the Hanafi madhab, there's a big difference. According to most of the other madhabs, you still pray Fatiha behind the imam. But in the Hanafi madhab, you don't pray Fatiha behind the imam, right? You don't pray surah behind the imam. You don't recite a surah behind the imam. You basically remain quiet behind the imam. Yeah. But you do everything else. When the imam says Allahu Akbar, you say Allahu Akbar quietly. When the imam says Allahu Akbar, you say Allahu Akbar quietly. When the imam says, when it's time for Rabbana lakal hamd, you say it quietly. You say the tasbih in the ruku' and the sujood. You say the tashahhud. You do everything else, right? You do everything else. The tashahhud, the tahiyyat, the durood on the Prophet, Muhammad, you say all of those things. You just don't do Fatiha and Surah, right? That's it. That's salah as a muqtadi. Okay, straightforward. There should be an adhan, there should be an iqamah. The male should be doing the adhan, the iqamah, and the leading, unless everybody in the congregation is a female, in which case, according to all of the ai that it's permissible to do jama'ah, except the Hanafis. If you're a strict Hanafi, then don't do it. But otherwise follow whoever teaches you your fiqh. So in the other madahib, women can lead women in jama'ah. In the Hanafi method, it's makruh. Salah will still be done, but it's makruh. Those in strict terms, basically, those are the positions of the madhab. So that's your jama'ah done. Then, in all of this, remember, you must respect the social distancing rules. That means the people who are confined together can do the jama'ah. You cannot invite anybody else in. You cannot. Even if somebody, for whatever reason, has come in, right? That person should perhaps avoid the jama'ah if they cannot keep 2 meters away. You must respect the rules, because that person can be spreading the virus to everybody in the household. All right? And remember, there is no way of knowing if a person is carrying the virus. A person can be carrying it up to a week without showing any symptoms whatsoever. All right? So people, it's coming home now. So people I know intimately now coming down with it, coming down with symptoms, and basically are ending up with the virus. Okay? And it's of course, قدر الله وما شاء فعل. This is the qadr of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But like we fear all things that strike fear in us, yeah, we fear a vicious animal as it runs towards us. We fear an accident coming out of the car. These things are normal. These fears are normal. Okay? Sometimes you hear ulama say, don't be scared, etc., etc. Being scared it's normal. Believing in qadr is about conquering that fear. The fear is normal. The fear is a human reaction, right? So it's scary. It's scary that you may not see your elderly parents, and you may not, the vulnerable in your family. We have a few vulnerable people in the family. That they might catch it just like that and then not be able to cope. The bodies might not be able to cope, and so on. These are real. These fears are real, right? And it's okay to have these fears, but we have to overcome them and work through them. And the way you overcome them and work through them is by taking the right action, right? And the right precautions, and so on and so forth. Anyway, so that's that in terms of salah. And then the rest of the routine, build it around salah, right? So your wird in the morning should be once in the morning after Fajr, once in the evening after Asr. Your fixed times of dhikr when you do the morning du'as and the evening du'as. And perhaps all of these du'as recommended during coronavirus. There's various compilations. I'm going to put one up on the website, inshallah, soon. And then obviously the rest of the day, do your work, but find some time for tilawah of the Quran. And everybody should be aiming as a bare minimum at this time. If you're not already doing it, as a bare minimum at this time, completing a khatam of the Quran every month. That means a juz a day. If you can't do that, or if you were already doing a juz a day before, then increase a little bit, so that you acknowledge the situation that you're in, right? If you can't do a juz because you're a slow reciter, it's too much, then cut back. But definitely make that part of the routine, right? We all should be now connecting to the Quran. And as I always say about Ramadan, pretty much what I'm saying is live your life like it is Ramadan already. And I always say about Ramadan, when you recite the Quran, fulfill all of the rights of the Quran. That means recitation is one right, reading and understanding is another right. So if you have half an hour with the Quran, spend 20 minutes in recitation, or spend 15 minutes in recitation, 15 minutes in reading the translation. Split the time up 50-50, because both are things that you're meant to do if you're not an Arabic speaker. Both are things that you're meant to do. Both things are required of us with regards to the Quran. And then start to do some planning. I think as we turn towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we will notice more and more things that we were lacking in before, right? You know, today it occurred to me that if I really tried hard, I could have gone to the masjid more. But now, salah time comes and I'm thinking, yeah, I want to go to the masjid, but I can't. That was suddenly there was a big rush, you know, that moment of realization. I thought, okay, you know what, I can go to the masjid. And then, I can't go to the masjid. Right? So that suddenly I felt that really hit me. So remember that we will notice a lot of things that we were lacking in, i.e., we were taking things for granted, taking our time for granted, taking Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for granted, taking our deen for granted, and so on and so forth. All of these realizations will come. Every time you get one of these realizations, respond and act. How are you going to fix that? Right? So, and that way you will identify, like the question was about new habits, you'll identify new habits that you can now adopt. Okay, inshallah. So I'll stop with that, and perhaps you can come in with